Hey guys, it's Kelly Ann and welcome to a Flossy Friday, or actually today it'll probably be a Fabric Friday. It is June 17th, 2022, and I have a lot to show you. Let me give you a little bit of an update. Stella and Potter are doing fantastic. They're sleeping in the other room right now. Other than that, you may notice that my accent wall is no longer coral. It is now a bare paint called Cracked Pepper. I've been wanting to change the color of this wall for several years. I think it's been the brown and coral for almost 10 years now, and I never was really fully in love with the coral. And in the last 2 years, being in here almost every single day working, and then also now sewing a lot, it really was starting to bother me. And I've always wanted to have a charcoal kind of black wall. And I personally really like black and brown together. So I figured, I think this is a really nice time to do that. And I feel like it elevates the room a lot. All of my office furniture is a darker wood, so it stands out really well. And I'm focusing on this corner because, one, this is my sewing corner, but also because right now I have this thread holder that Ashley gave me. I am going to keep that. I think I'm going to move it into the closet. And I bought a pegboard system, and right now, because it is black steel, I am working on spray painting it. The spray paint that I'm using, I can't remember the brand, but the color is called In the Buff. So it's not white and it's not cream. It's kind of like an off-white. It kind of looks like a natural cotton linen or fabric, kind of like muslin. So I'm in the process of spray painting those steel pegboards that color, and they're 16 by 16. So 2 are gonna go on top of each other on the brown wall, and 2 are gonna go in this corner on the black wall, and they pop off of that wall. And why am I adding pegboards? Because I need vertical storage. If you could see all around my desk, I have rulers everywhere. I used to, whenever my sewing table was on the other side of the room, I used to have nails. Well, they're still there. I had nails in the wall, and that's what I hung everything from. And so it was just a mess. You had to take off a ton of stuff to get to the bottom one if that's what you needed. So I'm gonna be using the pegboard system to hang my rulers, to hang my rotary cutters, to hang my packages of extra blades, to hang my 3-in-1 color tool, to hang my patterns if I want. I also got some bins that I can put leftover charm squares if I want, or some extra threads or bobbins, so that way Stella doesn't steal them. I also am looking into, there's like these closable cups, these cups with lids that go on pegboards, and I think I'm gonna put my pins in those, again, to prevent Stella from getting into them. And to just clear up my table, give myself more workspace. I'll also be able to hang some embroidery cross-stitch stuff up there, like extra hoops and things like that. And it's metal, so I'll also be able to put a couple of needle minders on it and have extra spare needles near my sewing machine instead of across the room on a magnetic dry erase board behind my office door, which I almost never see because I leave the door open majority of the time. So I'm making this a really good use of space for storage. The other thing that I did not put back up, everything is back up, by the way, and the wall is completely finished. If you've been following along on Instagram the last couple of days, but the only other thing that I am not putting back up is the blue lace curtains. I am gonna be getting rid of those. First of all, they never went with the brown. They never went with the coral. Like, they were just never it. But there is an art gallery fabric that I really like that is black and like a brownish rust color. And there is a ruby star fabric that is the same colors. And I think they look really well together with a very thin black piping. And I'm gonna make my own curtains with a muslin backing, so that way it reduces the amount of the seams that you can see. But for the most part, majority of the curtain is going to be the art gallery fabric. There's going to be that little thin pinstripe. I'm probably going to have the curtains come a couple inches below the window sill, so about 6 inches is going to be that Ruby Star fabric, and I think it's just going to really pop and set it off. And so I will probably start working on that project either at the end of this month or next month, because I'm not going to be able to go down to Montgomery Quilt Company to get the Ruby Star fabric until probably at least the second week of July. So that'll probably be a July project, but it's okay. I got the blinds back up, and the weekend of 4th of July, hopefully, unless I can get some help before then, the pegboard system will be going up. So that's really exciting and something that I've been working on. So what else have I been working on this week? Or in the last 2 weeks, actually, because I did not do a video last week. And I didn't because I was very close to finishing a quilt and I wanted to wait to show you guys. That, and over the weekend I finished a 3rd quilt in the last week and a half. Because I'm saying a week and a half because I'm not counting the last 2.5, 3 days, because I've been working on this. And not been sewing at all. And then I honestly, if I wouldn't have done this, I would have had a 4th quilt ready to show you guys. But I don't, unfortunately. So I will show you those 3 quilt tops, as well as a ton of haul, and talk a little bit about my 2-day retreat that I had at the beginning of last week. The 2-day retreat was amazing, and I will say something that came super in handy is that tiny little iron that I got from Target for $15. It's a Sunbeam, and if it's on, it's on. I left it on max the entire time, but you do have a range from minimum to max on this little dial. You can change the voltage from 120 to 240. I left it on 120. You do have the ability, if you put water in it, to use steam, but if you aren't going to use steam, there is a steam off selection, I guess, so that way you don't like extra burn up your iron. But yeah, this thing was fantastic. The other really nice thing is there were ironing boards and like an ironing section set up, as well as a cutting section. I decided to have everything ready to go and cut before I went, because I don't want to spend half of my time at a retreat standing up cutting out pieces unless I'm starting something new and it's near a fabric store and I bought everything that day. That's just how I've learned that I enjoy retreats and sewing days with my cut-ups group whenever I get to go. So that's just a personal preference. You can do whatever you want to do. But I will say that the ladies that waited to cut everything day of, they spent half of their 2 days cutting stuff. So I wanted to get progress and make a lot of it. And on the first day, I finished 1 quilt top, and by the end of the second day, I had finished putting together all the blocks for the 2nd quilt top that I finished in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. The other thing that I had gotten for my retreat, but had not gotten in before my last video, which I know that I got my iron, but since I actually got to use it, I thought I would talk about it, is I had ordered a 14x14 wool pressing mat off Amazon because there were no stores near me or even on my way that morning that were going to be, one, open in time, or just in general, that had pressing mats, a wool pressing mat. This came in handy so much, just like the mini iron. I thought that I was gonna have to make room on my table. We had the same size tables that I actually use at home, but they had extra little tray tables that you could put in between you and your partner if you had one of these like mini irons and pressing mats. And so we set it up in between us, and it worked out perfect. The person sitting next to me was making a puff quilt the entire time, so she didn't end up needing it, but she might have used it maybe once or twice, but she wasn't piecing anything. She was making puffs, and so she didn't need it like I did, but whenever I needed it, it came in handy having it on that little table next to me. And I found out that those little tables are $15 at Walmart, and you don't have to buy them in a set of 4 anymore. So I might invest in one, maybe like next month or in an upcoming month, and keep it next to my table so that way I can pull it closer to me and use the big iron and ironing board for whenever I'm ironing out like entire rows. But it really does help whenever you're pressing blocks, especially. I have a couple of quilts with very small pieces, and it gets the seams so nice. It's way more controlled and a little bit less scary getting it super close to your hands because you have more control with it. So just throwing that out there. And also, you don't have to use best press or I like to use flatter. You don't have to use any spray with the mini one while pressing your blocks. Like, you might want to, like, whenever all of them are done or whatever, give them final press. I would save that for whenever you're putting rows together and making your row seams, but that's just me. Okay, so some of the haul that I received. So I will say this, and I'm gonna take this with me this weekend because I really wanna get this done. But I did put binding onto my 30s quilt, and I went with black, and it looks stunning. So here is the section that is actually done. I have a little over one side done. This is actually where I am. I don't think you can see my needle, but did Stella still? Oh no, okay. My needle's right here. So I have just a little over, this is where I started. So I've done an entire side, and I'm getting, maybe I have 2 sides done. I don't remember. I have a little bit done. But anyways, I'm gonna take this with me this weekend, but I think the black looks amazing with this. And before retreat, I had bought the black binding to go ahead and get that put on, and I bought 2 spools of thread, and she tried running the credit card 3 times. It was at the end of the day. The internet was acting up, so she just left the tab open for me because it would not run. So whenever I went back to go close out my tab last weekend, she had received this fabric, and this is from the Christmas Fair line from Moda. And it's basically, it's just Christmas music sheets that are overlapped on each other. I got 2 yards of it because I have an idea for a quilt line that I want to mix this in with, but then I want to have some extra just in case, because this is a really, really good one for Christmas stuff. And it has Silent Night, Jingle Bells, the Snowman, It Came Upon a Midnight Clear, Come All Ye Faithful, Hark the Herald Angels Sing. And I think that's it. White Christmas is tucked in there. So I'm excited about this fabric to have in my stash. So super cute. Okay, what else did I get? I got some stuff while I was at my retreat. So I'll go over that first. So I have this bag of mini charms of 30s prints. Now, last year or 2000, I can't remember. I believe this is the 2000 30s playtime that came out by Chloe's Closet. And I have the mini charms of it. And then this set up here of mini charms, 4 sets, I made from my leftover charm pack from my 30s quilt that I made in 2008, which is also a Chloe's Closet, but it was called Hopscotch. So I'm collecting 30s prints, by the way. And if you happen to have any and don't want them and you want to send me some 30s prints, especially if they have little animals on them, I greatly, greatly welcome that. Just send me a private message on Instagram. Anyways, the new 30s Playtime by Chloe's Closet came out recently, and so I bought a charm pack to cut into 4s to make mini charms. And so this is a really fun like charm pack. It has cherries in it. There's no animals in this one. But it has little sewing things, which is super cute. And then florals and some ginghams and things like that. So, and polka dots. There's always polka dots. Here's one of the cherries, super cute. So I just have to cut this up and make it into mini charms. And at some point, I already have an idea of what I want to do, or like what kind of quilt I want to make with these, but I would definitely like more of the pastels and ones with animals. Speaking of animals though, and these aren't pastels, but something that Kim is doing are called candies. And basically, it's the mini charm packs and the charm packs, or like people are bringing her like leftovers of some charms and things like that, from making a quilt. And if it's a mini charm, she's folding it up and putting a pin in it for 10 cents a piece. And for charm size squares, so 5x5s, she's doing the same thing, but they're 25 cents each. And so she had 7 of the Scotties in the red and 7 in the Scotties of the white. They're very 30s looking, so I got all 7 of them to add to my 30s bag. So I do have that. And there's some other candies that I got, but I'll talk about that in just a second. I also got a charm pack of the Ruby Star Society's Camilla, which is the like tea time one. So there's florals in here, there's little stars, there's little spoons and the teacups and stuff like that, but there's some really like fun florals. There's a butterfly, which it won't let me land on for some reason. There's a butterfly. And it's a really, really pretty like color palette. So I got a charm pack of that Ruby Star collection. All right, so my guild has we have a block pattern. And so I want to make it into my new name tag because I need a new name tag, is basically the bottom line. There's a lot of half square triangles, which uses a lot of fabric. And I wanted to, in the end, be about 4 by 4, 4.5 by 4.5. So I got this really pretty candy as the bark of the tree. I got these really pretty candies as the colors for the tree. And there's a really nice plaid in there. And then for the sky, I got a really nice mixture of like white and blues that I thought was pretty cool. So, for the back, I don't know why, but I thought this was really neat. So it's a little farmscape for the back. And then I'm gonna cut these in half and make these into binding. And I got these 2 fabrics as binding, and I'll probably alternate them. But anyways, I thought they were really cute. So that's gonna be the candies that I got for my name tag. The rest of the haul that I got from my retreat, I'll do this one first. I got this cow panel. It's a new panel that came out. They're like watercolored longhorns. They aren't just cows, they're longhorns. But they're really, really sweet. They're very nice pictures of like some Texas prairies with these beautiful longhorns in them. So you got a baby and some moms and their babies, and then some just really beautiful longhorns. So I got that. The nice thing about this is I don't know what I want to do with it, and I don't buy stuff that I'm like, I have no idea what I'm going to do with that. I don't do that very often. If I do, it's usually with panels. But the nice thing about that is there accompanying fabric? Yes. However, since it's a watercolor, you can use almost any solids with that. And it's a bunch of panels. It's a whole yard of panels. So that takes care of a lot of quilt. The other thing that I got was I got 2 more Hey Y'all panels. So I want to make a surprise Hey Y'all quilt as a Christmas gift for somebody. And So I needed another panel to do that. And then I needed one because at some point I want to use all the scraps from the Hey Y'all quilts at this point, and try and make myself a quilted jacket for like rodeo season, go Texan day, things like that, and just for funsies, because why not? And so I got another panel to do that. So I got 2 more panels, and then I got a layer cake because when in Rome. Also, for the surprise quilt, I'm going to make this into charm squares, and it's going to be like a charm patchwork quilt around the panels. I'm just going to keep it simple on myself and maybe throw in a little bit of the red, white, and blue grunges and the red, white, and blue tone-on tones that I picked, or not tone-on tones, but white on color fabrics that I picked for my own quilt, just to give it some color. So yeah, I'm going to make this into charms for that, and then I'll also have some left over to use in mine and then in my jacket eventually. The other thing that I got, which I had already kind of claimed this, I just needed to pay for it. I think this was like 2 2/3 yard or something like that for like 25 bucks of this Gloria fabric, and you'll see why. But I finally decided what I wanted to do with my Gloria fabric. I had cut it up into, I had a layer cake, I cut it up into 2.5-inch strips, and I was gonna put them together and do a lattice, and then the Happy Stripes quilt came out, and I really liked that. So I was trying to figure out what fabric I could use for the half square triangles. And the thing about art gallery fabrics is it's a lot of slip. And so for me, I don't really want to mix fabric textures in that kind of a way. So this was on the end of Bolt sale, so I snagged it because it was from the same collection, and this is one of my favorite prints in there because I love this color blue anyways. And there's a lot of, well, you'll see it, there's a lot of like rusts and like dark oranges and reds and things in the quilt, so it kind of lightens it up, which is nice. So I picked that up and paid for that. Okay, so you will see I did finish my Happy Stripes quilt, but before I cover it up again, I am making one of the accompanying quilts that you utilize the rest of your half square triangle blocks, and it's like these intermittent with a lot of this, like whatever fabric you picked for your half square triangle cutoffs and Happy Stripes. So this is the 4th quilt that I could have had finished if I wouldn't have deconstructed my office and painted a wall. So there's that. But once this one is done, I will officially have 2 bins empty in my whip pile over here. So that makes me feel really good. The second Hey Y'all though will end up going in there, so I have to doodle it out. But once I doodle it out for placement of the panel pieces, it'll be pretty easy. So I want to talk about, I got some other haul, and I'm going to talk about this one first because the other ones I got backings for 2 of my quilts. So I'll show those after I show the quilt, or maybe before, who knows. I've had this for a really long time. 2010 is whenever this one was printed, or I guess maybe whenever this design was designed. Now, I will say that you cannot get the only cat labels anymore from this company. And this company is blockpartystudios.com. You can order off their website, which is blockpartystudios.com, or off their Etsy. So there were 3 rows of these cat labels on this one. And like I said, this isn't available on their Etsy or their website anymore, but there is a set, and I forget what it's called, but it's these 3 cat labels and then 3 dog labels. So you only get 6. This one came with 9. But I was like, I need more labels. And so I was looking at the ones that they had, and I really liked the Label Medley 1 compared to the other ones. And on these, you get 14. Now, I will just say, this is the white, and then this is the natural. I prefer the natural, but I use muslin a lot as backing. But I will also say, I have a couple other things from this company. They're the ones that they print this on fabric, but they have panels that you can color in. They're in black and white, so you can either color them in or you can leave them black and white and just utilize color. You can buy kits from them, but they also have panels that one of the more popular ones that most of you will probably have seen if you're remotely into quilting is there's one where it's a bunch of little tiny like kill cancer, knockout cancer type sayings that you can make a like cancer strength quilt for somebody basically. And there's ones that are like one's about mom, one's about dad, there's military ones, daughters, sons, grandparents, cats, dogs. There's a bunch of really funny ones for quilters and things like that. But anyways, they have like 4 or 5 different label medleys, and this is the number one. I prefer this one. Like I said, you get 14 and you get 8 designs. So you get 2 of this design. You get 2 of these 2 designs. And since they're black and white, you can color them in if you want, or you can leave them plain. You get 2 of this design, and you get 2 of those, and then you get 1 of each of these guys. And this bottom row, they're much bigger. So this is the entire label medley 1, and I decided to pick up 2 of these because then I was like, I'll have labels for a while. And I really, really liked them. Some of the other label medleys are like more floral and things like that. But anyways, you should check out their company, either their actual website or their Etsy. They have a lot of really good stuff. All right. Oh, I will say the temperature quilt is not going to get updated for the month of June until the like first week of July. And I will say that we've already had 3 days get into the black color, which is 101 plus. So that's exciting. So exciting. Okay, I'm going to show you the Gloria quilt first because of how I have them in this basket and how I want to put them back later. So this is the Happy Stripes. The designer's name is Emily, but I believe the pattern is by her quilt designing name is Quilty Love. So this is Happy Stripes with the Gloria from Fabric Gallery. So it's a lot of, I don't know. I think I'm gonna like the smaller quilt better. It's a lot of these like autumnal colors, and I loved it as a layer cake. I don't love them all jumbled, so I don't know how I feel about it, but it was a really fun pattern. It's a layer cake and jelly roll and yardage fat quarter friendly. It's a really fun quilt. All right, this backing is for my fenced-in quilt, which the fenced-in quilt is by the quilt pattern is by Mojure. I have tagged them in the photos on Instagram, and it is a PDF copy of a pattern off of Etsy. So the backing for the quilt, I'm gonna show you the backing first. I got from RMC Quilts, Quilt Finishing Center, off Etsy. Fantastic shipping, like literally the next day. I got it like 2 days later, maybe 3, but they shipped it the next day. It was great. But this is from Lori Holt Farm Girl Vintage, Riley Blake Designs, and it's a 108 backing. There's a fabric that I put smack dab in the middle of the quilt, and I really wanted it as the backing. The quilt is 78 by 78. So for regular fabric, I needed 7.5 yards, and it was gonna be $100. Or I could find a wide back that I liked, and they didn't sell it by the half yard, this company, so I had to buy a full 3 yards. That's okay because I'll have a lot left. But and I'm totally okay with that because it's genuinely super cute. But I got 3 yards of this one for like 35 or 40 bucks or something like that. And it's so cute. It's like perfect. But it has table of approximate yields for fruits, and it has like all the fruits that are on the quilt. It has like things about farm life. It has a plotting route. It talks about roosters and milk, and like has dairy farm labels and like pig labels, and it's so stinking cute. There's stuff on here about eggs and wool. Oh my gosh, it's just so cute, and like the breakdown of a tractor. Anyways, I was like, this comes in 3 different colorways, and for this quilt, I know that it's very dark compared to the front, but I really, really liked it, and I thought it went really well with the quilt. So, it's also my very first on point quilt, and I love it so much. And I'm not going to be able to show you the whole thing, but I can show you as much as I can. But here it is. This is the fabric that I wanted to be the back. And I think for binding, I'm going to use this light cream. It's by Moda. But the fabric collection is under the apple tree from Cotton and Steel. And this is layer cake friendly. Or you have to buy 4 charm packs because this is a block. It looks more complicated than it is. It looks like this is a bunch of stashing, but it's not. So this is a block. And because of where it's all positioned, it looks like maybe this is a block and then you stash it all, which isn't true. So it's actually pretty, it goes pretty fast. But you need 4 charm packs. You can also use yardage, but you need 4 charm packs to be able to do it, or 1 layer cake and make your own charm packs from it, which is cheaper, just FYI. Okay, so the last haul that I got was off of Etsy from Fetish Fabrics. I literally received this a day and a half later, or like 2 days later. They must have overnighted it, but I got free shipping, so I don't know. But it's the Ruby Stars 108 backing in black Cosmos, because I finished my mod Meow, and I will open it in just a second. But what I am doing is basically I used the 108 backing, which is more of a sateen, and this is kind of where I learned I don't want to really mix fabric types like ever again if I can help it, because it's a lot, and it's a lot more stringy. It frays more. Anyways, I'm doing the opposite of the white on the back, but in the same fabric. And then for the binding, I'm also going to use the Ruby Star hole punch, but in the white on white. So I'm basically the 2 in the front, exact same, but opposite colors to finish out the quilt. So I needed 2.5 yards. They sold it by the half yard. So that's what I did. And I can't show you the whole thing of this either, but it came out amazing, and I'm in love with this. It came out so good. So the fabric is Mod Meow from Riley Blake. And I picked this pattern because it had like the old school like mod fabric or mod furniture in it, out of like the offset boxes. So I thought, how perfect is this? This pattern is called Chain Link, and it is by Diary of a Quilter. Anyways, I'm in love with it. So the back and the binding is going to basically be the opposite of the fabrics, and I think that's going to finish it off amazing. But yeah, this is everything that I got done in the last week and a half or the last 2 weeks. So lots of really fun haul, lots of quilts that have been done, and almost done with a room redecoration. Now I just have to finish cleaning out my room and organizing it again. So that's gonna take a little bit longer. Hopefully next video that will be done or almost done. And I'll also hopefully have another quilt top finished and stitching worked on, because I really, if anything, want to get my temperature cell up to date. So I will see y'all next time. Love you guys, and I hope that y'all have a great week. Let me know in the comments what you're working on, and if you want to know anything else about anything that I showed today. Bye guys.